Hello and welcome to Norwegian Woods. As you can see, I'm back in the woods. Another trip, another overnighter, and this place is really close to where I live. It's called Barby, and the river, the creek that runs down that way, is one of the best spots in this part of Norway to catch salmon. But I'm not going to catch fish today because this area is really regulated, and you have to buy this fishing card, this fee, to be allowed to actually catch fish here. And I think also the season is ended, so you can't buy them at this late in the summer. But anyways, it's a really beautiful spot, so I hope you like the scenery. I know that I do. That's some warm coffee. My plan for this little trip is to test out some new setups for my tarp. There are some setups I've used many times, and I've seen on some of the videos on the YouTube that there's some really interesting ways that I feel that I definitely should check out, and that's what I'm hoping to do on this little trip. So for many of you this is probably old news, but for me it's not. So we'll see how this goes. I think after I finish this coffee and enjoyed the scenery for a little while, I'll pack up my stuff and move over to the other side of this small lake, where the river actually continues for quite a bit. I can see if I can find a nice spot to put up my camp, and maybe I can do some testing with the tarp as well. We'll see. As you can see here, I found my camping spot for the night. I cleared some room between these trees, and I think I'll put my hammock right here. It's a nice place. And now I just turned the camera, and you can see that I'm right next to the water again. At this spot, the water is just moving quite slowly past my camp spot, so it will not make too much noise to keep me awake this night. So it's getting a little bit late, so I think I'll do the tarp setups in the morning. It's a really good spot for putting up tarps because there's quite a lot of trees.
Hey, I just heard a moose right down next to the campsite. Hopefully he'll come back so I can capture him on film.
Now the sun is going down. It's really getting dark for me, so I think I'll go to bed. It's a little bit chilly, but I think this will be a good night. There will be no rain, so I didn't put up the tarp, so I can just lie in my hammock and look at the stars, because it's a clear sky. It's one of the good things with this hammock camping, I think. If it's good weather, I have the mosquito net, so I don't get all the mosquito bites, and I can still smell all the smells from the forest, and I can see the stars. That's good. This is the thermometer again. It shows 11 degrees Celsius and I think 52 Fahrenheit, something like that. The forecast said that it would be between 8 and 9 degrees during the night, so it's a little bit colder than the last trip I was on, but shouldn't be any problem. Can really feel that the summer is ending. The air has changed quite a bit. So I think the only thing left for me to do is to go into my sleeping bag and hope for a good night's sleep. And I'll see you in the morning. We can do some tarp testing, some origami. Good morning. So it's breakfast time. I just made myself some food. I had a good night's sleep. It was actually a little bit colder than I was expecting, but I didn't get cold because I had a good sleeping bag. That's important. Oh. I woke up in the middle of the night, had to go to pee. I looked at the temperature. It was 6 degrees. That was in the middle of the night, and it's important to know that the coldest part of the night is always in the morning, right before the sun starts to heat up everything. I made a couple of phone calls this morning, and I heard it was between 3 and 4 degrees Celsius at the coldest this morning. So should always prepare for that. This is the hammock I slept in this night. As you can see, I didn't put up my tarp because I didn't expect any rain, and it didn't come any rain. But my tarp was close by, so if I had woken up in the middle of the night with a little bit of rain, I could probably put it up in like 3 minutes. So yeah, but anyway, I didn't have any rain this night. But I want to try to do some different setups with the tarp, as I said. So I think maybe the first one I will put up is the kind of shelter I put on top of my tarp. I've done this a few times this summer since I bought this hammock setup. And for all this test I'm going to do today, I'm using the same tarp. It's 3 by 3 meters, just some yeah, some cheap. It's called Dovrefjell is the brand. It's a quite good tarp, but it's not nothing special, I think. And I'm also going to use some of these tent pegs. I have some paracord line that I'm going to use, and for some of the setups I want to use some of these small loops. I'll try to show you how I do it, and yeah, so I just get onto it. The first thing I did, I put up this I think it's called a ridge line in English. It's just a rope that's connected a little bit above the ropes for that holds the hammock on each side. So, in the next step, after I put up this line, I take my my tarp and I connect it close to the end of this line on each side in a setup that's referred to as a diamond setup. As you can probably see now, I've attached the tarp in a diagonal kind of way. On the other side, I just took a tent peg like this, put it through this loop, and just pegged it down, so you get like this steep roof above the hammock, and that's really good because the rain easily just runs off it. And many times I want a little bit more air inside, so then I just attach a line to this. Can go quite far away. This will give a little bit more room around the hammock, and that can be good. I'll try to stake this down so you can see. As I hope you see now, I lifted this side up, and I get a little bit more space, so I can put some on my luggage and some of my gear, and still let it be protected from the rain. So this is my usual setup with the tarp above my hammock. It's just a diamond setup that's lifted a little bit above the ground. Usually I put these lines on each side, but if it's really windy, it can be good to put this lower. And if it's really no problems with rain at all, you can tie this line a bit higher if you find a tree or something, so you can make it stand out more like a roof or something. I took down my hammock, and without the hammock I don't think this setup is really useful. Maybe if you build yourself some kind of bed so you can raise yourself a fair distance above the ground, this setup might be a really good one. But just for sleeping straight on the ground, I think this setup doesn't give much protection against wind and rain. There's a better way that I've used many times. When you have this ridge line, you can put the tarp up on the other way around, and that will give you a much better back wall. It's more like a lean-to shelter. I'll show you. As you see now, I have the same ridge line, but I attached one of the long ends of the tarp to this ridge line, and I tightened it up, and I pegged it down on the back side. This gives me a lot more room inside the tarp, and it gives more wind protection from the back side. This is more like the easiest lean-to setup with this 3x3 meter tarp. There are some modifications you can do to this setup. I'll try to show you. You can probably already see what I've done. I've taken the back wall, and instead of pegging this the furthest corner, I went into the next attachment point and pegged that down on each side. And I brought the leftover piece from the outside in as a floor inside my tarp setup. If you try to tighten this a little bit more, it will be a little bit more room inside. There's also some other ways I can show you later. But the main thing with this setup is that you get the waterproof floor. And I've used this setup a few times in the winter when it's snowy and wet. So you can put your sleeping mat and sleeping bag right on top of this floor, and you still have a fair amount of protection from the rain. So I think this is a useful setup. As you see, I did exactly like the last setup, just the opposite way. I took and pegged the end of the back wall to the ground, and I took the tarp over the ridge line, and I attached the first attachment points on this side to the ridge line, and I made a little roof this way. This is moving in the direction of the A-frame, but you still get a lot more air and into this, and you can also see a lot more out. So and it gives a lot more height than a regular A-frame. I'll show you later. And this kind of setup is quite good if you're going to have a fireplace, like a campfire, in front of the setup. You can even tie this middle point with the line out to give it even more room. So we can put like the fireplace in this area, and you'll get a lot of the heat going up under the roof. But just be careful, because this tarp is supposed to be fire resistant, but it's not fireproof. I believe it will burn some holes in it if you get this little flying embers to land on it. But this is a good setup, I think. It gives a lot of drive space underneath, and you also get a lot of wind protection from the backside. And as with all of these examples, you can of course tie them down a lot better. This is just for a demonstration and for me to see how they look. As you can see, I made a more traditional A-frame. I made this setup a few times, and it's good for what it is. If you're going to sleep on the ground, you get a good steep angle on the sides to make the rain just run off, and you also get wind protection from both sides. You also get a lot of air going through. That can be a good thing, and it can be a bad thing. The good thing is that you don't get all this condensation. What I did for this setup, I moved the ridge line a little bit lower. It's about chest height when I'm standing. So inside this setup, I can't stand upright. is just for sleeping. I can sit but not stand. And I also just fastened the midpoint to the ridge line and one tent peg in each corner. If you want to make this a little bit more secure, you can put a few more pegs along the outside of the setup. It's pretty sturdy. As you see now, I've done a small modification to the A-frame. It's a little bit more in the ballpark of the diamond setup I have had above my hammock. I could probably use this one above the hammock as well, but since this tarp is attached in a square, not the diagonal direction, it gives me a little bit less roof above the ends of the hammock. So this is a little bit shorter. This is actually just 3 meters of the width of the hammock. But I've just moved the ridge line to a place just above my head level. If I had something to climb on, I could probably attach it even further up so I can get more workspace inside. And the four corners, I have about 2 meters or so of line down to a peg, just to keep the sides tight. I have just the 4 outer corners. If you want this to be more sturdy, you can probably use more lines along the bottom line of the tarp. But I think this kind of setup is useful if you want to have a workspace and still be protected from the rain, because this gives a lot of area where you can sit and stand under the roof of the tarp. So yeah, it's a pretty good setup, I would say. Maybe even better if I had like half a meter or so more headroom, but still good. This is yet another setup. It's the tarp mounted in the diagonal, the diamond direction. How I did it, I just took one of the corners and attached it to a line and tied it to the tree. And then I went to the opposite corner down there and tightened it up and just pegged the corner into the ground. Then I took the 2 other corners and just pulled them out and pegged them down. So it's 2 of the sides is connected to the ground, and 1 corner is up close to the tree. And I've never done this before, and I think it's interesting because it's starting to be more like a tent. It's really good space inside this setup. Yeah, I think I could use this. And it's if I had this line a little bit further, it would be quite okay to have a campfire in front of it. So yeah. Now I've done a small modification to this diamond setup. I found a small rock and put it on the inside of this tarp. I think it's important to find a rock that's not sharp, that will damage the tarp. So it's a pretty round little, nice, smooth little rock. And I put a loop around it and tied it up to a tree. So I've lifted up the backside of the space inside this tarp tent, and I can see from the outside that it looks a little more roomy. Yeah, it's a lot more room inside. I've seen this modification done to this lean-to setups as well. You can just take the back wall and put some rocks or pine cones or something like this inside the tarp and make a loop from a line and just tie them out. It will give a lot more room inside. I think with this setup it could easily sleep like at least 2 people, maybe 3 inside this setup. Yeah, it looks good. As you can see now, I've done even 2 more modifications to this same setup. The first thing I did, I moved the tie-in to the tree a little bit lower. As you can see, it's about my waist level. The other thing I did, I took the corner on this side of the tarp and moved it in so it's 90 degrees straight down from the it's not a ridge line, but from the top of this tarp setup. And what this did for me is that I could flip a part of the tarp inside to make a small floor inside. So maybe this will make this diamond tarp setup a little bit more useful in the winter time, because then you can stay away from the wet ground. I would say that this setup would be really good for one person to sleep in. Just one person, because it's a triangle. The space is a triangle, and it gets really short on this side. But it's good because I have some roof that I can put my backpack and my gear under, so it stay out of the weather. And I have this floor, and I have a little bit of room above my head. It's more than I have inside my hammock with the mosquito net. But it's just a place to sleep, not to work. Here I have done another kind of setup with the diagonal, the diamond direction of the tarp. This is more like a lean-to kind of setup. What I've done, I put up the ridge line, and I attached a line to one of the corners of the tarp, pegged it out, maybe 2 meters of line, and I think it's from the tip until the ridge line, it's about maybe 1/3 of the length of the whole side of the tarp. And I attached it to both sides. The end of the tarp is the corner is down there, and there it's the furthest corner. And instead of like the regular diamond shape I did earlier, I went in maybe like 1/4 of the way, and I pegged down both sides, and I flipped this on the inside, so I get a floor inside, a dry floor. I think this setup would be pretty good to sleep in, because you get a lot of air and you have quite much dry space. It would also be a really nice setup if you want to just have a little bit of space to do some easy work, maybe some carving or some small projects. Also good for cooking. I think it would be safe to have a small campfire in front of it. Maybe not underneath, but right outside. I think this. I think I'll be using this setup in the future, for sure. I like it. This is the same setup from a slightly different angle. I just want to mention with all of this kind of setups, especially this one. I think if I had made a tie-out point with a small rock in the back here and tie the line so I can push this back wall a little bit further up, it would be actually even more useful. This is yet another variety of almost the same as the last one, but in this setup I put up the tarp in the square direction, if you know, not the diagonal. So I have the same height of the ridge line, and as you can see, it's a little bit less than 1 meter above the ground, because this tarp is 3 by 3 meters, and as you can see on the front there, I've attached like 1/3 of the length of the tarp to this side of the ridge line, and 1/3 of the length to this side. So it's about 1 meter across on the top and 1 meter down on each side. After I attached the front of the tarp, I went in on this side, I think maybe like 2 meters, 2/3 of the way along the bottom of the tarp, and I staked it down. And I did the same on this side, about 2/3 of the way in, and I staked it down to the ground. And I took the meter that's left on the back side and just flipped it inside. So I have about 1 meter of floor, and I also on this, I could have done this on the last setup as well. I put a rock and a line to the back to bring the back wall a little bit further up. And I think from both of these setups, I would have benefited if I had taken two tie-out points on the back to really tighten up the tarp and make a really nice space inside this setup, because for me this really feels like a proper tent. And the opening is 1 by 1 meter, and I don't know, the length of the backside here is probably 2.5 meters. It would be no problem at all for me to sleep here. I think this is mostly like a one-man setup. It's not for 2 or 3 people, but maybe 2 people. And I also think this is really good if I put a campfire in the front of it. It would make a really nice dry space to sleep and to store all the equipment, and to do a little bit of easy tasks. So yeah, I think this is also a really good way to use a 3 by 3 tarp. This is the same setup from a little bit different angle. It's easier to see the outside. This is another tent variety. For this one, I made a triangular tent. I took on on the far side, the back side, and I took one of the long side of the square tarp and pegged it down tight. Then I took the two other points and brought them together and tightened them in this point. So it makes a 3 by 3 by 3 meter triangle on the ground. Then I took one of my small rocks and tied it to a line and brought this over the ridge line that I put up pretty high for this one. And I tried to get it in a position where it's tight on all the walls. And since these two ends are brought together like this, it makes a nice entrance for the tent. And when I went inside, it's quite good room in there. I would say it's enough room for maybe 2 people to sleep with quite a good amount of equipment. And I don't know if this is the best way to put it up. What I was hoping for this to try this setup was to find some kind of tree with a big branch that I can tie it to. I also seen where I got the idea on the internet. I don't remember the channel, but thank you. You put a stick inside. A lot of this tarp setups can be done with sticks on the inside instead of these rocks or pine cones or whatever you have handy. But at least for this test, I choose to not put anything inside, because I think it takes up a little bit of the room. So if I could get away without putting any sticks and poles inside my tarp setup, I feel that it would be a better space inside of it. So, but this triangular setup, I think it's pretty neat. It's good, especially if I put down some more tent pegs. I think this would be really sturdy, and it's completely locked from all sides, so it would protect from all the elements: snow, rain, wind, whatever. It's a good one. Here's another setup. It's really like a tent. It's a little bit difficult to actually explain everything. I found this setup, as I did with a few of the other ones I've tried, on the YouTube. So if you type in DD Tarp tent setup, then I think you find a really good explanation of how to put up this one. And I have to say, it's interesting because it's almost completely concealed from the elements, and you have a pretty good room inside. And I would say 2, maybe 3 people can sleep in here. It's not. I would not consider this to be a quick and easy tarp setup kind of deal. It took me a little fumbling about to figure out all the different places to put the stakes and the lines. On a couple of other videos I've seen this setup. They've used walking sticks inside, but I managed to do it with my ridgeline, and and 2 rocks. It's I think it's good because then you don't have to take to have the poles inside the tent. It gives a little bit more room, but then you need something to tie it to. So it depends on the environment, I guess. At this point, I am lying with my feet just a little bit from the back wall, and I think it's still a good meter or so to the front of the tent, at least half a meter until I get exposed from the opening. I don't think it's high enough to sit on my knees, but it's good as a shelter. I think this is interesting setup. Maybe the most fiddly one I've tried today, but still is good. Here is the tarp tent from a side view. I can try to explain really simply how I did it. This side, the back side, is one of the sides of the tarp, and I went in about 1/3. So I think it's about 1 meter between the two pegs here, and you can see there's another meter up here. So I just pegged down. It's folded in the same way on the other side, and it's pegged down on these two sides. And then I went over to the other side. This is the corners. If I'd square this all of this tarp out, this would come about to this place, I guess. So I moved it in about half a meter, 70 centimeters, something like that, and pegged it down. Did the same on the other side, and then I took this midpoint of the long side of the tent, pulled it out on each side, folded this inside. Then I took my method with the rocks up to the ridge line, 2 of them, and tightened them pretty good, so I lifted the whole construction. And in the front here, as you can see, I took this loose end and just tied it down to the pegs I used on the middle point on each side, which made this top of the door. I'm pretty sure it's possible to do this in other ways, but I found this one and I wanted to try it, and it's interesting. Here I have made a completely different setup. I found myself 4 trees that's with a bigger distance than the long sides of my tarp, so it's probably like 4 or 5 meters between these 4 trees I've used. And I put a ridge line on 2 of the trees on a diagonal compared to where I was going to put the tarp. And as you can see, the ridge line is a little bit higher up than the top of my head, and if I had something to stand on, I could probably put the ridge line maybe a full meter or so higher than I actually put it for this setup, and it would have given me more room underneath this roof. I just tied one line from each corner of the tarp to each of the 4 trees and tighten them up pretty good. The center of the tarp, I put my little rock inside and tied it to the ridge line. And yeah, I think this setup has some pretty good uses. It gives you a really good working space, and if you live in some parts of the world where you have the sun right above your head, this can make a nice shade to get away from the sun. But I don't think this setup is the best if it's really windy. I think if I had had some more height of my ridgeline, it would have made a little bit steeper angles on the tarp, because I think if you want to use this against the rain, it's important to set this up in a way so the water runs off the sides, so it doesn't get trapped inside and make this puddles. So the higher you get the center of this setup, the better it is against rain. But obviously if it's a lot of wind and rain, everything comes in from the sides because there's no walls on this setup. But for what it is, as another option to use the 3x3 tarp, 3x3 meters, yeah, I think this is yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I guess this usage of the tarp, I wouldn't call it a setup, but you can use it as a poncho, as a raincoat. And sometimes it's dark and you get into some really hard rain, and if you know where the tarp is in your pack, it's easy to just get it out and wrap it around you. You can use this, just wrap it around your sleeping bag, use it as a kind of a bivy bag, and you can use it as a regular poncho to just cover you and your backpack and all your gear if you have to walk in the rain to get somewhere, get home, get to the car, whatever. So yeah, I think that's it for the different setups. It's been a good day for me. I feel that I've actually learned a lot. I don't know about you, but if you find any of this information useful, I'm really happy with that. So I think I just pack up the rest of my stuff and leave for home. So thanks for this time and hope to see you soon. Bye bye.